Well, the ANC is under fire for revealing that it will spend about 50 million rand on local government election campaigns. That's despite some staff not having been paid their salaries. How do you balance these two? Well, to explain this further, I'm joined in the studio by the national spokesperson for the governing party, Mr. Pule Mabe. Pule, good evening. Welcome to South Africa tonight. Let's just start there. I mean, there are always trade-offs. I understand when you're dealing with things like budgets and stuff. There's an election coming, you have to spend money on it. I mean, that's just logical. But you have this huge challenge, a backlog of salaries. And we've seen staff members of the ANC protesting recently. You've engaged with them. How do you balance these? I mean, surely you should have thought about that and say we should pay some money to them and settle that, even if you're not settling the whole salaries yet, so the way can be open to use the rest of the money for the elections.
Well, Braden, we did issue a statement today as the African National Congress dealing with the sensational reporting by Citizen Online where they misquoted our head of elections, Comrade R50m around the 50 million being available as budget. This arises out of a conversation that Comrade Mbalula would have had with the 702 radio earlier on. He clarified that there could be an estimate of around 50 million. But of course, what you do in the normal course is that you then submit that wish list to the Treasury.
Oh, so it's not been approved yet?
No, because
the 50 million rand money has not been approved.
Because remember, the political head of the Treasury is the Treasurer General, Comrade Paul Mabe. So you, from a planning point of view, you have got to submit your wish list. And then the TG would then say, given what we are able to source from our funders, this is the kit that we are able to mobilize. So there is in no way that a caring organization like the African National Congress would be seen or made to look like it prioritizes certain things outside the welfare of its very employees. And Braden, I must also say that we have been humbled by the fact that our own employees have since suspended the action. They are back at work, full swing. We have seen them on the ground with national officials doing work, making sure that the message of the ANC as it relates to this upcoming local government elections is being understood by each and everyone in the communities that we are
Let's just get some clarity. So you are saying that in the interview that you said the head of elections, R50m has said about the 50 million is not a fact that the money is already been approved. It still has to go through that process,
yes.
Number one. Number two, are you therefore saying that if and when there is money made available for the elections, you as the ANC will prioritize settling the salary bill?
Correct. I mean, we have got to be seen at all times putting priority to the welfare of our employees, because it is through their energy, tenacity and courage that the ANC is able to fulfill its own programs, especially the promises it makes to the people. You know, our own wall-to-wall campaign finds resonance in our ability to interact with people in their homes where they live. And for us to be able to do that, we need capable people who are committed, volunteers of the ANC, those who give their all to the movement.
That sounds fair. That sounds fair and well if you're going to practice this. But I want to take you back to the interview you've referred to that was done by R50m, you said, on 702. And there's a quote in that Citizen Online article that quotes your comrade R50m as saying 50 million, maybe not more than 50 million in this campaign. It's a very short period of campaigning, and we can live without other things. What do you mean? What did he mean by that? But did he mean that we can live without paying the salaries?
No. We can live without other things in the campaign. For instance, a much longer campaign would have meant that doing Siyanqoba, conducting that in a bigger venue, as you know, Braden, where you'll have bussed people and all of that. We now have got COVID regulations. We can only bring 500 people. The program of our own campaign is quite truncated. We've got to make sure that within the next 38 or 39 days, one, we've got posters for councillor candidates on the ground. We've got our own posters for manifesto launch happening next week on Monday in Tshwane. We are able to mount a working social media campaign, because we are going to have to place heavy reliance on digital media platforms and not necessarily your traditional media where we have to place double-page spread ads, buy time on television, and we've got to look for mediums that work for our people. What is encouraging now is that almost all our councillors, almost all our branches have got some form of WhatsApp groups in their own communities. So this makes communication much more intimate. The message gets to the people that it is intended to go to. But now, Braden, let's give you as an example. I mean, it doesn't mean that when you have not been paid your salary, you can't make budget even for your own household chores. I mean, you already know that, okay, by the end of the month, I need to pay this debt, that debt. We do it. If I've got a debt of Edgar's, Truett's, those shops, and then I need to buy grocery, I need to pay school fees, I make those plans even if I don't have money, so that when I've got money, I can direct it to the things that would make sense.
Pule,
yes.
I mean, I started by saying, for me, logically, you have an election coming up.
Yes.
You're going to have to put some money in the campaign.
Or at least at the very minimum.
Yes.
At the very minimum.
I understand.
Put a plan that guides how you are going to run your own fiscal arrangement.
Yeah, and you've mentioned an example where some of your members might use their data through the WhatsApps and talk directly to them.
Yes.
But the key point that I want our viewers to be very clear, and some of your members who are staffers who have not been paid, because I understand you've paid some, but not everybody has been paid yet.
Well, Braden, the truth here is that a larger number of our staffers had been paid.
A larger number has been paid.
There would have been about 70 or so, being under correction. There's been a letter again today, deposed by our general manager, explaining to staff. You see, the good thing that the ANC humbles itself with is that even when it faces difficult situations, it is the first to communicate to those that are impacted upon by the situation.
You can communicate, that's fine. But just want to, as we end here, Pule, is that you are saying now what has come across as a definite 50 million rand maximum for the campaign. We're going to sacrifice other things. That's been mentioned by Fikile Mbalula. It's not a done deal yet.
It's a wish list.
It's a wish list. He still has to go.
Let's call it a wish list.
It's a wish list.
All budgets.
Yeah.
I mean, throughout the world,
so he still has to
wish
go.
Lists.
He still has to go and present it to Paul Mashatile.
To the treasury of the ANC. The treasury,
that's number one.
The treasury has got to say this is what is doable and all of that.
Number two, on the outstanding salary bill.
Yes.
Are you saying you'll prioritize that first if there's money available from the treasury?
We have always done that. We've always done that. I mean, everything that we do, we always make sure that we put priority on the workers of the African National Congress. By the way, the workers of the African National Congress are the frontline troopers of the revolution that we are supposed to execute on the ground. So expectation is that they bring with them the discipline that must be carried by anyone who is a member of the ANC in good state, who understand that saving an organization like the ANC requires an amount of selflessness, to understand that when an organization like the ANC is liquidated by those that are supposed to protect it, then there will not be a vehicle that best represents the interest of our people on the ground.
We'll watch the space. Thank you very much for coming to the studio to clarify that. That's Pule Mabe, national spokesperson of the African National Congress. It is not 50 million rand guaranteed, confirmed. It's a wish list. Those were his words that Fikile Mbalula still has to present to Paul Mashatile. And if there's money in the kitty, they'll prioritize paying their frontline workers. Okay.